In this video, we'll talk about the distributed system. In the previous two videos, we talked about centralized and decentralized. If you haven't watched those videos, here are the links. They're here. You can just click on that and watch the videos and come back here. And in this one, we're going to talk about 5 different topics about the distributed systems. What is distributed? Why we need distributed systems? Who needs distributed system, and what are the advantages and disadvantages? So before we jump in, I just want to make sure if you're not subscribed, do help me grow my channel by subscribing to the channel, and at the same time for you to learn more technical information about such useful topics. So we'll talk about what is a distributed system. A distributed system is a collection of servers where data is stored or data is synchronized. When I say collection of server, it could be a laptop, or it could be a server, it could be a desktop, where all these different systems will share the same data. So whether it's if you're using a laptop as a server or maybe a typical server, the data is same between the server and the laptop or the desktop. The deviation is not allowed. The data is synchronized, data is copied across all the networks at the same time. There could be a few minutes of delay, but typically in a decentralized network, data is synchronized across all the nodes. These nodes can be anywhere in the world. It could be simple, it could be in one country, or it could be outside the countries, or anywhere in the world. And the decision making could be centralized or decentralized, depending on the program or depending on the system. And why we need distributed systems? The number one reason we need the distributed system is for the high availability. Because these servers are located across the world, you have the higher access to these servers. Even if one of the server goes down, there's one more server having the same exact copy of the data. So availability is always there in case of a distributed system. High durability. Now with high storage space, you could probably have a simple laptop with SSD hard drive, and you can be a node to store the data in the distributed system. It's going to give you more durability compared to what we have in the existing the current centralized or decentralized systems. Scalability. Anybody can come into the network and be part of a node, and you can scale it to any number of modes. Since it's a peer-to-peer network, the data can be replicated in any number of systems at any given time. There's no restrictions on the number of nodes or number of servers in the distributed system. Security. Most of the systems using distributed technology using the high-end security, AES5 or maybe SHA-256 encryption. So the data stored in the distributed systems is always secure, mostly secured, again depending on the application you're using. But in a typical distributed system, the data is secure and stored in a more secured way compared to the traditional databases, where it could be storing the data in a simple table format with raw data without an encryption. But in case of a typical distributed system, most of the data is encrypted and stored into a file system. Who needs distributed systems? Well, distributed systems could solve many things. It has endless use cases, but in this video we'll talk about a very few use cases which are being used now. The first one is financial system, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies are doing fantastically well. They're doing a lot of multi-billion-dollar transactions every day. So that is one of the use case. And the next, the banking systems. Because the distributed system is going to give you transparency. Maybe the bank has to adopt the distributed system so that their data is secured, and at the same time they're giving the transparency for the users. And who else can use the distributed systems? I think the gaming industry, they can use the distributed systems, along with sensors, IoT devices. I think they have a huge potential to use distributed systems for all the advantages I just gonna talk about. So these are the people who needs to use distributed systems. Now let's talk about the advantages of distributed system. The first advantage of the distributed system is all the nodes are connected. Once the node is connected, exchanging the information, exchanging the data between these nodes is pretty simple and easy. And the second advantage is that since the nodes are connected, even if one node goes down, your system is not down. You're still talking to 100 other servers or 100 other nodes. So one or two system going down is not a problem in the distributed system. And the third advantage is that a new node can be added pretty easily, because it's depending on the architecture, adding a node should be not be a problem. If it is a public distributed system, even you and I can add our system to that particular the distributed system and be a participant. And finally, of course there are more advantages, but to summarize, things like IoT devices, like a printer. Now when you connect a printer from your laptop, it's only connected to that. Now if your friend, or maybe if your children want to take a printout from their laptop, they cannot do it because it's connected to your system. You have to disconnect and connect it to there to take a printout. But in the case of distributed, you can do that simultaneously. So these are some of the quick advantages using distributed system. Now let's talk about what are the disadvantages of a distributed network or distributed system. Well, I think there are not many disadvantages with the distributed system, but one disadvantage I think is what if the network is slow? Maybe some nodes will not have a lot of updated information. Maybe if a lot of people are going on and off of the network, no, the data is not synchronized correctly, and there could be a data loss in the transmission. But I think with the new technologies that might be addressed, but I think that could be one of the disadvantages at the moment with the distributed systems. And other disadvantages could be, it could be too large to handle large volume of data, or maybe large volume of nodes, because all of them have to on a same platform, same version code. So if they're not maintaining a version code, they might be having a different branch, which is not good for the distributed. So it's we have to enforce certain rules for people to maintain the nodes, upgrading the nodes, or using the same version, across all the nodes. So these are some of the execution challenges, a typical disadvantage for me. So that's about the distributed system. And if you have any other questions on the distributed system, do put that in the comments below so that I can answer to them right away or as soon as I can. I hope the 3 videos are helpful for you to learn about centralized, decentralized, and distributed systems. I hope this information is useful for you and you learned something new today. And if you are liking the way I'm going to explain the things, you can join my upcoming webinar. The link is below, where I'm going to talk about the blockchain in detail. And if you wanted to move into blockchain space, you should definitely explore about. And if you want to explore about blockchain technology, do join my webinar so that you can make a decision to come into blockchain or not. So it's a free webinar, free live webinar. Just go register for yourself, go register and book a seat so that I can talk to you in detail about blockchain technology. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and you come back to this channel to learn more about the technology and the blockchain. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.